What's up, y'all? It's your boy JTMM, aka Just 10 More Minutes, aka the Freaking 10, back again with another video. This time, instantly. I mean, I'm talking maybe a minute or so to pull up the video and the lyrics of the Sacrifice, because I truly want to know where this goes. And, you know, over the first couple of songs, we kind of saw the hints of the mental instability of the queen. And then finally, when she snaps and kills him. And then we get Red Hands Never Fade, which I think was brilliantly done, from a lyrical and even, I mean, the catchiness of the chorus was just great, right? But here we are at this Sacrifice, and I want to see where the rest of this goes, because with 5 songs left in the story, how does it affect her? Because at this point, you know, when Red Hands Never Fade, again, my interpretation was kind of this panic and also regret, but also this, how do I make it right? And if I think about it from a story perspective and the bigger picture of like a movie and the way I visualize their stories and their songs, what could be next? I mean, I could sit here literally and just talk about all my thoughts before even listening to it for probably a good 30, 45 minutes and talk myself out of a theory and this theory and this theory. But instead of that, let's switch it up and let's take a listen.
Please don't hide from me. I see through the fake smile that you've been wearing around. Don't lie to me. I see through the facade that you're portraying as everything starts to collide. You can't forget, though you have tried. Don't reject the darkness in your eyes.
Okay.
One more simple question. No one answers, no one mentions the emotion, the commotion that fills your every need, that fills your fantasies. If you let this go much further, there'll be no turning back from me. I will do it, let me prove it. I'll show you what it means to be so devoted to live for it. It's in the air that you breathe. It's the sacrifice of life, to sacrifice it all.
Okay. You saw the look on my face change, and it was, I was listening, but my mind instantly started kind of reading through the rest of that verse, and I try not to do that. And I saw a line that got me. There's 2 lines in this that I'm picturing, but let me cover, before I get to my theory. Please don't hide from me. I see through the fake smile that you've been wearing around. Don't lie to me. I see through the facade that you're portraying. As everything starts to collide, you can't forget, though you have tried. Don't reject the darkness in your eyes. And I'll apologize for the yawn there. It is super early here on Sunday. Don't reject the darkness in your eyes. Because we've seen the panic, we've seen, you know, wanting to make everything right. But that line of don't reject the darkness of your eyes, it's almost like an internal voice. Because if you look at that and you look at what was before it, right? Don't hide from me. I see through the fake smile you've been wearing around. You know, don't lie to me. I see through the facade that you're portraying. As everything starts to collide, you can't forget, though you have tried. As an outsider, if you're listening and you've heard the other previous ones, you could go in and say, oh, this is someone talking to her, you know, that let's just say a friend or a companion of this guy, or a lover of who he truly loved, and they're confronting her about it. But then it's don't reject the darkness in your eyes. And that takes it from a third person of being someone else into that first person of internally in her head, because then it goes in to say, one more simple question no one answers, no one mentions. The emotion, the commotion that fills your every need, that fuels your fantasies. That's a really cool rhyme scheme there, right? When they talk about one more simple question, no one answers, no one mentions. The emotion, the commotion that fills your every need, that fuels your fantasies. And I haven't covered the rhyme scheme of this or even Red Hands because I was so freaking enthralled with the story. It even took me off my complete whole reaction that I do of breaking down the lyrics and truly with rhyme schemes. I am totally 100% invested in this story. But then here's the part, and you saw the look on my face where it clicked. If you let this go much further, there'll be no turning back from me. I will do it. Let me prove it. I'll show you what it means to be so devoted, to live for it. It's in the air you breathe. It's the sacrifice of life to sacrifice it all. All. And I'm now picturing with the to reject the darkness in your eyes. And then that there'll be no turning back from me. And it seems like she's like this close from just truly being mental and letting the evil take over. Or is the queen is the evil in her head talking about sacrificing the good part of her? And that's what she'll do? It's in the air you breathe. It's the sacrifice of life to sacrifice it all. Is she going to take the good in her and truly remove it and show it in her mind with the evil of what it's like to truly live without that pain, without that regret? So is she wanting her with that one more simple question? No one answers, no one mentions. The emotion and commotion that fills you every need to full your fantasies. If you let this go much further, is she saying that the pain and regret that she's holding on to and the remorse of doing it, that's what she's saying? If you let it go much further, there'll be no turning back. I will do it. Let me prove it. I'll show you what it means to be. Sorry, this may be a 20-minute damn video again. Okay, let's keep going.
Please let me get close. You can't do it alone. You need a hand to hold. Please let me help. Tell me you're just sick of only having big skills that eats you up inside. This emptiness, this loss of life. You know that you're running out of time. One more simple question. No one answers, no one mentions. The emotion, the commotion that fills your every need, that fills your fantasies. If you let this go much further, there'll be no turning back from me. I will do it. Let me prove it. I'll show you what it means to be so devoted to live for it. It's in the air that you breathe. It's the sacrifice of life to sacrifice it all.
Okay, I want to cover these lines mainly before I forget, and I won't make this break as long as the last one. Please let me get close. You can't do it alone. You need a hand to hold. The evilness will help her through this. Please let me help. Tell me, aren't you sick of only having this? Guilt that eats you up inside, the emptiness, this loss of life. You know that you're running out of time. One more simple question no one answers, no one mentions. The emotion, the commotion that fills you ever need, that fuels your fantasies. And I didn't cover this in the first one, but I will really quickly. when they go to the Fuels Your Fantasies and they change that pitch and they switch it into the chorus, I don't know that I've at least covered a band that's done it on my channel. I know that there's bands that have done it, but to change that note vocally at the end of that, and that's what the chorus changes into from a chord style. That was really cool. Let's keep going. I want to know, because it seems like she's just losing her marbles.
What if you could just let go? I will lead you, just follow. All your thoughts of tomorrow, I'll make them disappear. Hand it over. All the pain will be mine to keep. If you let this go much further, there'll be no turning back from me. I will do it, let me prove it. I'll show you what it means to be so devoted to live for it. It's in the air that you breathe. It's the sacrifice of life to sacrifice it all.
So here's one of the other things I like about them as musicians. They're not afraid to change things up. A lot of bands will play the same chord progressions through the verse and then in the chorus, and then go back to the same chord progression in the verse. But they're not afraid to switch it up, and they did this with taking it to this lighter tone. What if you could just let go? I will lead, you must just follow. All your thoughts of tomorrow, I'll make them disappear. Hand it over, all the pain will be mine to keep. And then, they repeat the chorus. So as I'm sitting here listening to it, and I go back to these several key lines of "Don't reject," the darkness in your eyes, right? And the line as well of "You can't do it alone. You need the hand to hold. Tell me you aren't sick of only having this, the guilt," right? It's this break, and I almost picture it as you have this dark shadow over this figure, right? And we heard her panicking in in Red Hands Never Fade and wanting to make it right. And then you've got that little evilness within of, I'll take that all away. I'll lead, you just follow. Let me take over. Brilliant storytelling. It's got this sense of, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, Fight Club, Tyler Durden, and I already forgot the main character, the one that Ed Norton plays, of where it's this internal struggle of being good versus evil at its core. Wow. So before I close it out, let me give you my final thoughts. So as we move into this one, right? And the next one was Sinister Smile, I think, if I remember my Google Calendar correctly. Yes. So when I look at the titles, right, and trying to understand. It seems like, you know, that good side and just that normal human being who was obsessed with someone and wanting to let me be the one, to the evil side of I will be the one. And then the breakage of killing him and being remorseful and the panic and the emotions of what can I do to make it right, even though I know I can't because the blood will never fade that's on my hands, to now this internal struggle that the queen is having of letting the darkness take over and letting the evil take over. Again, this is all just what I'm picturing in my head because that's what this sounds like. I go back to that first verse where they to reject it actually was don't reject the darkness in your eyes, right? I would have thought it was another person that was talking to them, a past lover of his, of whatever, that caught him. Because everything up until that point of please don't hide from me, I see through the fake smile, right? Could be someone that caught her doing this. You know, I've seen the facade that you've been putting on and everything starts to collide. You can't forget though you have tried. But once it says don't reject the darkness, that switches from an outside person trying to catch her in the lies and let them know that they know that she did it to an internal thought struggle. Because in my mind, quite honestly, I'll close with this as I look at the time. I was wondering truly, where would this go? Where would this be in the bigger story where she's caught and arrested, right? And it would be, you know, at the end her just breaking down. Was it going to be that type of story? But we haven't even gotten to anything like that because now we're talking about just this internal struggle, right? Mentally. You know, whether it's seconds after this has happened or a day after it's happened, you know, time doesn't tell. But this battle and the way that they're telling it is fascinating. And that's the beauty of their music and why I'm so enthralled to know the next step is because the psychological thriller that they're taking us through with these songs is absolutely masterful. I'll end it with that. I'm hoping for better camera shots on the live version. If I'm honest, I didn't like what I saw at the last one, just the behind shots, the distance shots. But again, as I said in that video many times, it wasn't an official music video, but that would have been more of what I wanted to see. But that's just a me thing because I like to see those facial expressions to see how they're conveying it. But we heard it all in her tone. So now I want to see the transition. Hopefully they'll do more of the facial shots with Danny as she's singing to see maybe that change and the battle and how she portrays that. I'm fascinated to see. So with that being said, if you liked the video, hit that like button, leave me a comment, let me know what you thought. Am I right? Am I wrong? I mean, that was just my viewpoint of it going from being a third person to an internal struggle. And is this the internal, well, actually, I would say it is the internal struggle of her, you know, right versus wrong and the good versus evil, slowly breaking down and trying to get her to let it go and just handing over all that pain and grief and emotion to her. Let me know in the comment section. Y'all have done a great job of that and reinforcing that, hey, I'm on the right track, or hey, think about it this way. Absolutely loving this journey. My mind is blown. So let's take a look at the live version, which is coming up next. But until then, remember, if someone asks you to stop what you're doing, don't ask for 1, don't ask for 2, and certainly don't ask for 5. If someone asks you to stop what you're doing, always ask for just 10 more minutes. Cannot wait to see. Stay tuned.